What the heck? So this is a spur gear of a Gardner Marine Diesel Engine. It's off the starter motor, I believe. And it's an engine which is perhaps 50 or 60 years old. And this measures 1 7/8 inch diameter. Has 13 teeth. And that makes it an 8 dp diametrical pitch gear. And this is a 8 dp number 8, 12 to 13 teeth, 20-degree pressure angle gear cutter, and it's nowhere near. So to cut a long story short, a bit further investigation reveals that the OD of the gear is actually 1.83 inches, not the 1 7/8 it would be for a standard gear. The tooth depth is quite shallow at 230 thou, not to 270 thou for a standard 8 dp gear with a 20-degree pressure angle. So I thought it might be a fellow's Stub gear tooth form. So a quick reference with Machinery's Handbook, it looked like it might be an 8/9 pitch gear. It's close, but not close enough, so I'm a bit stuck. So I'm just going to take a cast of the tooth with some epoxy. Okay, so I've cut a slice out of the tooth mould I made. So I'm going to glue it to the cutter to see how it compares. So I've set these calipers to a width there, so I'll try to get the little piece I've cut to fit in up against the calipers. See how we get on. It's a bit fiddly. Bit of glue on. That looks pretty good actually. I'll leave it there to sit. Okay, so if we take a look at it under the microscope, bear in mind this is magnified quite a lot. It looks a fairly good fit. So the distance from the end of the epoxy mould to the end of the tooth is 0.7 millimeters. So it's overhanging a bit here, but on the other side it's in. So it looks like it could have been rotated a little bit more to be a good fit. So I think if I go ahead and take, well, let's say 0.6 off anyway, 0.5 or 0.6, I think we'll be pretty close. So once I grind this cutter, it's dedicated to this job. And what do you bet that someone comes along in a week's time and says, oh, can you make us a standard 8 dp gear, 13 teeth? And they'll say, no, I haven't got a cutter. Okay, so this tooth form is form relieved. So theoretically you can grind this countless number of times to sharpen it and not lose the form. But obviously I can't do that. I'm going to have to grind a straight edge on here and get a positive rake on the tooth. So it's basically the cutter's ruined apart from being suitable for this job. So I've machined up this arbor to hold it between centres in a tool and cutter grinder. So this will come in handy for future grinding of horizontal mill cutters. So that's a beautiful fit on there, 1 inch diameter. That's absolutely fantastic fit actually. Beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic. I'll need to put a spacer on. Put a nut on. I was going to drill some tummy bar holes in here, but haven't gotten around to it yet. I'll stick it in the vise or something. So I made up this little tooth support so that I can index it and support it by the tooth. The spring portion here is just a bit I cut off an old bandsaw blade. So I think we should be okay there. Okay, here we go. So it's the first time I've done a grinding operation like this, so hopefully everything will go okay. I need to make sure I don't accidentally take a point off this tooth. Should be okay. Okay, we seem to be at the point of the tooth there. So I'll set my dial to 0. Okay, that's 0.6. Next tooth. Just have a look at that. It's looking okay. Looking good. looks good. Okay, to put a chamfer on the other side of the cutting tool tooth, I've had to flip it around, which means I've had to put the tooth indexer on the other side. So I'll have to, obviously when it grinds this, it's going to want to turn it around, so I'm going to have to keep a hold of it. So I'm just going to break the edges of this chamfer with a diamond coated needle file and make it a bit nearer to a radius. It'll not be perfect, but it'll be better. Okay, so I'll just go around and do that. So looking pretty close. Nice. Here I've got my 3 gear blanks, and with the spare material I made up a little test blank to test my setups. So before we do anything else, I'm just going to put the keyways in, and I've made up a little fixture plate to hold these. Okay, we're just getting set up to put the keyways in. Unfortunately, I've got a 3/16 wide cutter off a previous job, so I don't need to make a new cutter. So we just need to make sure that it's square to the job. Looks about it. Okay, I've just eyeballed it to where it looks in the middle. Just bring the head down slightly. See if we can put a scratch on there. I'm just turning it by hand. So we've got quite a nice line. It's the same at both sides, so it must be pretty close to the middle. So I think we'll leave it at that. And so this is the trial blank. So we'll see what it cuts like. Right, so that's cleaned in at 10 thou, so we'll need to go to 90 altogether. Okay, that's 90. Oh, that went pretty good. Happy with that. Dividing head all set up and trammed in. Okay, so I haven't got a tailstock support for this dividing head, so I've turned this to 12mm diameter, and I've made a little bush to go on there, and I've got a little machinist jack here which I can put in and jack up and put a clamp on. Oh, that's just moved it half a thou. And that's brought it back. Okay, to get the cutter on centre, I'm just touching the square up against the workpiece, and then bringing the table, moving the table until the square just touches the cutter. Just move the cutter across half the diameter of the work minus half the width of the cutter, which comes to 5 turns and 60 thou. 1. Okay, so this is my trial blank. The depth of the tooth on the sample that I've got is 230 thou. So I think we'll just go straight in at 230 thou. Cut a few teeth and see what it looks like. Okay, so we'll touch on. Wrong way. Okay, so this is the part of the mould that came out of the tooth on the sample. Seems to fit in there okay. So to determine the indexing, I just went online and found a calculator, a dividing head calculator. So we're on a 39 row of holes. So unlock it. You have to go 1, 2, 3 turns and then 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and move that to there. Lock it up. Looking promising. Okay, so this is the sample gear. I've got two 5.5 diameter drills which seem to fit in there quite nice. Just going to take a measurement across. .35 .3637. Okay, 48.37. Put in the one I've just cut. 0.3. So we'll say it's about 0.07 smaller. 0.1 to 0.07 smaller. So that's 3 to 4 thou. That's pretty good, that actually, for a first shot. So the distance across the top of the tooth, because it's got 13 teeth, I've got to measure from the top of the tooth to the bottom of the opposite tooth. It's 40.66. Try it on here. 40.56, 0.54, 0.55, so it's 0.1, so that's 2 thou aside, so it's 4 thou down. So I'm really happy with those results. I think I'll just drop the table a couple of thou. But that's quite surprising that it's come out so accurate on the first attempt. So the cutter must be pretty good. Very pleased with that. Can't complain. So I think we're all set up to do the 3 gears. So I'm leaving tightening this nut to last, so because I've got a bit of support at this end, so I'm less likely to misalign the mandrel or the arbor with a bit of force on the spanner. That should be good. Okay, that's the first one done. So another inspection we can do on these is to measure the distance between the bores or across the bores when they're meshed together. So I'm going to put some paper in to represent some clearance in the gear. So the pitch circle of the gear is 1 5/8. The diameter of the hole is 7/8, so 7/8 of 1 5/8 is 3/4 of an inch. So this dimension should measure 3/4 of an inch, or pretty close to it. Right, 0.75, oh. 0.75 exactly, that's unbelievable. Try that again. Yeah, 0.75. Well, I'm pretty confident that they'll mesh on the actual engine. Happy with that. That's actually turned out better than I expected. Okay, so the last operation is just to put these little tapers on. Okay then, for peace of mind I've set up two bosses in 1 5/8 centres. We'll just see how they fit. So that's the sample gear. Oh, that fits very nice. Try one of the others. Oh, it fits really lovely. Yeah, happy with that. I don't think I should have too much trouble with those.